Okay, let me tell you more about a flat tax. Why I like a flat tax. Okay. Like I have said previously, if there was a flat tax, that means the rich and the poor would pay the same percentage of their taxes. They would pay the same percentage. They would. Okay, yeah. Let me give you some math here. Let's say you have one guy, he makes, I don't know, 75,000 a year. Take 30% of it. Another guy makes let's say $1 million a year. $1 million a year. 30% of that. Okay, 30% of a million is greater than 30% of 75,000. So still the rich would be paying more taxes, just a lower percent. Okay. Still the rich would pay more, just it would be the same percent. And people like to complain about regressive taxes. Regressive, and they like to complain about progressive. Okay, let me tell you the problems that could be generated with both the things. Okay, regressive or progressive. Let me tell you the problems. Regressive, the more money you get per year, the less taxes you have to pay. So you have the poor people paying a higher percentage than the rich people. Progressive, people are discouraged from moving up the ladder as far as earnings, because if it's progressive, the more money you make, the higher percentage you have to pay. Okay? But if it's flat, everyone pays the same percentage. And let me also tell you more things about a progressive tax system. The rich can find ways out of paying taxes. They could always leave an area. They could always become tax exempt somehow. They could always be discouraged from working. So a progressive tax has a lot of problems to it. A regressive tax, a lot of people rail against it because it is a higher tax on poor people. Okay, or not on poor people, on people that earn less income, that earn lower income per year. Okay. So if you made it flat. Plus, their externalities are not going to go ignored. You have two people. You have an externality is in economics when there are two interactions. Let's say you got two parties interacting, and a third party gets affected. That's why everyone pays taxes, to make sure that the third party is okay. The third party is okay. Yeah, that's why everyone pays taxes, to make sure the third party is okay. Yeah. Third party. Let's say education. Let's say it's education. Let's say it's healthcare. Let's say it's roads, a road. Let's say it's public transit. Let's say it's police force, or law enforcement. Let's say whatever the externality is, whatever it is, a flat tax seems to be the best way to do it. A flat tax. Okay. Then you have the Laffer curve. If I remember correctly, the guy by the name of David Pakman debunked it by stating that if there's a progressive tax system, the Laffer curve is no longer relevant if it's a progressive tax system. Despite the fact that the Laffer curve is not going to work in a progressive tax system. That's why the progressive tax system is not a good idea, if you ask me, or if you ask a libertarian perspective. And if the libertarian, maybe I'm eliciting division there. You know, from progressive tax systems, the rich could find ways around paying the taxes. They could become tax exempt. Tax exempt is one thing. They could leave wherever they're trying to stay, or they could as a third thing, they could also become tax exempt. They leave. There's a large amount of rich people going to, that are probably high income earning people that are going to go to San Francisco, or not San Francisco. San Francisco probably has a very high income tax. Probably to Puerto Rico. There is no income tax. You can't vote in Puerto Rico, but there is no income tax. So Puerto Rico. Well, you could become discouraged if you're rich or you're a high income earner. As a fourth thing, let's think of what the fourth thing would do as far as taxes. Number 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The government prints the money and the rich people aren't paying it. And all you have is a gigantic mass of inflation. A gigantic mass of inflation. 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 People argue, well, if inflation goes up, will it lead more people into the nations? Will it lead more people into the nations to go on shopping sprees and buy things? What does the United States produce? What do we factory-wise produce? Not a lot, not a lot. We don't have a lot of tourism because factory-wise, what would we sell? What would we sell? What could we sell? As with our open borders, how would tourism, or if borders are open, say we have open borders, there is no restriction on who gets to come and who gets to come out. If they're open borders, let's say, then tourism is not going to be very effective as a means of creating higher revenue. Is one, we're not going to sell much. 2, if you're going to charge people to look at stuff, let's say I charge someone to look at a railroad or whatnot, or into a museum. If there are no immigration restrictions, there are no open borders, 0 immigration restrictions. Well, if there are open borders, but there are no immigration restrictions, then by that logic, the idea of trying to make money through tourism is not relevant. Plus, we produce very little. That being due to the Green New Deal. The Green New Deal. Yeah, that's why. Is renewables are bad at producing things. Renewables are very bad. If I can show you the TED Talk, I would. There are a lot of sources stating that. TEDx Danubia. Matter of fact, I will give you a number of TED Talks with TED Talks, nuclear energy. Okay, TED Talk, nuclear energy. Like I've said previously, if someone is going to ban nuclear energy, if nuclear energy is banned, and it's claimed to help the environment, it's not about the environment. It's not serious if you're going to ban nuclear energy, like I've said. Nuclear energy banned, not serious. Okay, now I will show you the TED Talks for nuclear energy. TED Talks, nuclear energy. I'm going to list them over for you. Why I changed my mind on nuclear power. Michael Shellenberger, TEDx. TEDx, let's take a look. Berlin, take a look. There you see the guy. There you see the YouTube channel, hopefully. You see it. Let me X out of here. There you see this. You gotta look. You gotta look. So there you go. Okay, TEDx. Why renewables can't save the planet. Michael Shellenberger, TEDx Danubia. Danubia, you see it? You see it? There you go. There you go. Okay. TEDx talks are very accredited. How bad is nuclear energy? Facts and feelings. Shuvia Rose. Okay, I'd recommend this one also. Shuvia, she's a Norwegian physicist and has her own blog. I was more familiar with the previous guy, the Michael. Let's talk about Shuvia also. She's a Norwegian physicist and has her own job. She's using a PhD in nuclear energy at the University of Oslo. She is currently focusing on the use of thorium in nuclear power stations. In her own space station, she is blogging about nuclear energy research, fashion, interior design, and her daughter. This year, she was representing the student candidate for the president's office at the University of Oslo. We are proud to invite her on stage. The topic she will be talking to us about is how the media's coverage of the risk of nuclear energy is wrong. Okay, she's a physicist on her own blog. She's doing a PhD. Oslo sounds pretty credible to me. Sounds incredible. TEDx is an incredible source. TEDx talks. Take a look. Take a look. There you go. Okay. I've studied nuclear. Save the world of nuclear power. Okay. And there are a bunch of TED Talks about nuclear power. I recommend you watch all of them. Making safe nuclear power from thorium. Okay, I recommend you watch all of them. Well, how nuclear? There's TED Ed. Okay. That's just about it.